the magic word. Here in the secret kindergarten, the world's best show for kids is starting. The Secret Kindergarten Radio Show. Use your ears and your imagination. We're going to play, we're having fun. The Magic Secret Kindergarten on the Revolution Radio Station.
Hello and welcome back to the Secret Kindergarten! I want to tell you about what things are like. When we think, where do our thoughts go to? And what are they like? We can't see thoughts, but they live all the same. And some of them are so pretty, if only we could see what they are like. Let us imagine what they may be like. I know thoughts are just like rose petals that the wind blows along, that make the air smell sweet. Those are happy-making thoughts. Listen to a cat purring softly because her little kitties are all around her. I'm sure she's making lots of little tiny rose thoughts, just a shower of them. And when Daddy comes home and we run to greet him, there is a great lovely cloud of rose-coloured sunlight all around him and us. Sometimes thoughts are not so nice and would not look so pretty if we could see them. Somebody I know was a little bit cross this morning and gave somebody else a hard, well, in my case, a hard scratch because it was my cat trying to get an early breakfast. It's just after 6 in the morning here in New Zealand. I don't like to think what sort of a thought that was. I'm sure it was very ugly and spiky and horrible. It was a thought of, give me my food, human. And sometimes we make thoughts that have little wings, which fly to the people whom we are thinking of. That is when we think of people we love who are far away. The little thought flies to them and gives them butterfly kisses for us, and whispers in their ear, somebody is loving you. And when we wish things for people, the little thought flies up to God, and if it will really help the person we are thinking of, He will send it to them one day. Sometimes we know someone who is sick or very unhappy. Then we think of them and think how splendid it would be if they were well, and how lovely it would be if they were happy. That little thought flies away to them and says to them, don't be sad. Soon you will be better. Soon you will be happy. And when we think of the world's father and mother, God, or of that beautiful Son of His, the world's teacher, the Lord Christ, then the thoughts are beautiful indeed, just like great tall lilies with a most lovely scent. Then, when the Lord Christ sees our thoughts, He is very glad. They are just like lovely flowers coming to Him. In Burma, where people belong to a religion called Buddhism, when they go to the church to pray and think of the world's teacher, they take with them a flower and put it on the altar where the priest is always thinking and speaking to him. That is because, although they cannot see their thoughts, they know they are like flowers which they lay at his feet. That is why, too, sometimes people put flowers before a picture of what they think the Lord looks like. It is such a long time ago since He was here that no one knows now what He really looks like. But they paint pictures and make statues of what they think He must be like. And when they put flowers by them, it is because in their hearts they want to give Him beautiful flowers which are thoughts. And when we want to be like him, it is like stars flashing up to him. And then he thinks of us and sends us back showers of sunshine, which help us to grow more like him. All the things in the world are like other things in the invisible worlds, and make us remember some of those other beautiful things. The roses make us remember love and loving hearts, and most of all, the heart of the world's great teacher. The rose color is like his love of us. And many years ago, some wise and good men who wanted to help his world gave us something to remind them of him. A rose placed in a cross. The cross on which ignorant men hung his body when they killed him the last time he was here. And they called themselves the Brothers of the Rosy Cross, for they had all promised faithfully to serve him and so help his world. And the blue sky is like the arms of his mother, stretching right around the world, and so is the big blue sea. I expect other people have thought that too. And so the old painters often painted his mother wearing a lovely blue cloak, just the colour of the sky and the sea. He had a very beautiful mother, and she loved him best of all in the world. All the mothers are glad when their little children come to them, but none of them could be so glad as his mother, because she knew that her little son was the world's teacher, and that no one would be able to help everybody as well as he would. And the stars, I think the stars are like thoughts, God's thoughts, millions and millions of them. Like the thoughts, God is always thinking about his world. Just watch how they twinkle, just as if they were smiling at us and trying to talk. And those beautiful daisy flowers which go to sleep when the sun goes down are like babies with their eyes shut, gone to sleep too. In the morning, the daisies will open their petals out again as soon as the sun gets up to call them, and the babies will open their eyes too and be very lively, and make sure you play with the babies. Perhaps when our eyes are shut too, the little fairies who live with the flowers will join hands and dance and dance. The moonlight always makes them want to dance. Let us go to sleep, and then we shall slip away from our bodies, and we can run out and join hands with them and dance too. And we can catch all the lovely thoughts which are like flowers in God's other house, and take them to the people who would like to have them. So now then, let us wish the best wish we can think of for all the people whom we know. What would you wish? And whom would you wish for? And that's for all you kids out there, because you're all action. And all we need to do is just remind you or help you to have positive, happy thoughts. So when your little brains grow, they grow in a happy, positive way. We do have time for some music! With thanks to Nancy Stewart of nancymusic.com.
Tiny little sparrow, tell me, where do you go before the leaves are off the trees and the ground is white with snow? Says the sparrow, I fly where the sun warms the ground and enough food for us all can be found. I fly away, I fly away. Tiny little hummingbird, where do you go before the leaves are off the trees and the ground is white with snow? Says the Hummingbird, I fly through the darkness of night, often resting, for it's such a long flight. I fly away, I fly away. Songbird, I miss you every winter when you go, before the leaves are off the trees and the ground is white with snow. Says the songbird, don't worry, I'll return in the spring, and I'll sit outside your window and sing. I fly away, I fly away. What a clever thing it is to know just when it's time to go, before the leaves are off the trees and the ground is white with snow. Little birds, you are brave, little birds, you are strong. Travel safely till you bring me back your song. I fly away, I fly away, I fly away. I will listen for your song when you return on a warm spring day. Yes, I have questions too. Who are you? Who are you? Owl, I have some questions for you. Where do you live and why do you who? What do you eat and when do you sleep? Yes, I have questions too. Who are you? Yes, I have questions too.
It's official. I have a little owl living in a tree right next to where I'm sitting, probably about 5 or 6 meters from where I'm sitting. And that owl goes hoo, hoo, hoo most nights. And 5 meters, I think that's probably about 15 feet, 20 feet, about 15 feet from here.
Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Do you or I or anyone know how oats, peas, beans, and barley grow? First the farmer sows his seed, stands up tall and takes his ease, stamps his feet and claps his hands and turns around to view his land. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Do you or I or anyone know how oats, peas, beans, and barley grow? Next the farmer waters the ground, watches the sun shine all around, stamps his feet and claps his hands and turns around to view his land. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Do you or I or anyone know how oats, peas, beans, and barley grow? Next the farmer hoes the weeds, stands up tall and takes his ease, claps his hands and turns around to view his land. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Do you or I or anyone know how oats, peas, beans, and barley grow? Last the farmer harvests his seeds, stands up tall and takes his ease, stamps his feet and claps his hands and turns around to view his land. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Do you or I or anyone know how oats, peas, beans, and barley grow?
I have no idea how oats, peas, beans, and barley grow, but I have some idea now. Thanks to Nancy Stewart of nancymusic.com. And I love barley. I love actually all those. I love oats. I eat them nearly every day, and I love them so much, sometimes I can't even be bothered cooking them. I just eat them as they are. That's crazy. Is the moon tired? That's the name of this poem by Christina Roggetti. Is the moon tired? She looks so pale within her misty veil. She scales the sky from east to west and takes no rest. Before the coming of the night, the moon shows papery white. Before the dawning of the day, she fades away. I want to play you a story about the peacock butterflies.
The Peacock Butterflies by Abby Phillips Walker. Plain little Miss Butterfly sat in a bush one day, when along came Mr. Peacock with his tail full spread. "Oh, oh," sighed little Miss Butterfly. "How handsome he is! If only I could have a dress like the color of Mr. Peacock's tail, all the other butterflies in the world would envy me. But here am I, only a plain little creature with no color to boast of, while all my cousins have gorgeously colored gowns. Oh, how I do wish he would give me 2 feathers from his tail, that I might have them made into a gown." And then this plain little butterfly, because she was so plain and had no beauty to speak about, began to think about handsome Mr. Peacock. "I wonder if he is vain," she said out loud. "Vain? Of course he is. There is no one in the world so vain as he," said a bee who was sipping honey nearby. Miss Butterfly did not ask any questions, and Mr. Bee was too busy to say more. But when he flew away, Miss Butterfly began to think, and the more she thought, the stronger became her intention to fly over to the peacock and speak to him. Over she went, alighting on a flower near him. "Mr. Peacock," she said, "I wonder you have never wished to see yourself. You are so handsome." "I have," said Mr. Peacock. "Often I have gazed into the pond and beheld my handsome self." "Oh, that is not at all what I mean," said Miss Butterfly. "Suppose you were to see the very pattern of your beautiful tail flying all about you. Then you can look at your beauty as it really is." "I do not see at all what you mean," said Mr. Peacock, who was not very quick at thinking. "I mean, if you would give me 2 tips from your beautiful tail, I could have a handsomer gown than any other butterfly in the world," said the little flatterer. "And besides that, you would no longer hear the yellow and the black, and those brown and black butterflies say that they were the handsomest creatures in the garden. I should outshine them all." Mr. Peacock stood up and strutted about. And all the time, little Miss Butterfly flew close to him and flattered him. "Oh, how jealous they would be if I had a dress like your beautiful tail, for there are no colors in the world so gorgeous, and they would call me the Peacock Butterfly. Think of that! You would have the most beautiful butterfly in the world named for you, Mr. Peacock." Mr. Peacock could not resist his flattery. He told her she could choose the 2 tips she best liked and have someone to pull them out. It did not take Miss Butterfly a minute to fly to the tree nearby, where Mr. Woodpecker was at work, and ask his help, for she knew he did not bother butterflies. His work was to find small insects. Before the end of the summer, the garden folks saw Miss Butterfly, but not plain little butterfly now, for she wore the most gorgeous gown in the garden of blue and black. And the next year, all the other butterflies were jealous of the peacock butterflies, who wore the handsomest gowns in the world. Mr. Peacock struts more than ever every time he sees one of the handsome creatures he helped to dress. But no one knows that this was due to the flattery of plain little Miss Butterfly that the family name was created. End of The Peacock Butterflies by Abby Phillips Walker.
We are reaching the bottom of the hour here on Secret Kindergarten Radio Show on Revolution Radio. I've got an activity idea for you families to do at home. This one is a real magical one, I promise. This one's called If I Were an Animal. So all you need is some pens and paper to draw on, or pencils, that kind of thing. You close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. And when you are ready, you just need to imagine that you could be any animal that you wanted. What animal would you be? Why would you like to be this animal? You just use your imagination. And imagine that you are that animal. And what do you feel like? What do you like doing? What do you not like doing? What is the best thing about being you? What is the worst thing? What would you most like to be able to do? And when you've all talked about it with your eyes closed, you open your eyes and you draw the animal that you chose. That is a real awesome activity for young kids. And the link to the book where I got that from will be in the notes, which you can check out on thesecretkindergarten.com or all those platforms. You check out my Substack. Or you can see it on YouTube, BitChute, all those thingies, Odysee, blah blah blah. It is good to ask questions to young kids. It's good to ask questions, and it's good to ask questions in an activity while you're all having fun together rather than interrogating kids. Okay? There's a difference in that kind of questioning. So remember, I love you. Bye.